Howdy folks. Soap this morning is from Third Path Shaving. This one here, the scent is Barber Shop. 4 ounces of soap in a tin screw top lid. That's what it looks like on the inside. It's fairly easy to scrape out to put in a shaving bowl. Very pliable, so it's not like a triple milled or anything like that. It's just firm inside the container here, but very pliable when you press it down in a shaving bowl. Got the Allen block, no rubber band this morning. Maybe one of these days, it may be another 5 months before that finally goes away, maybe longer, and get one with a rubber band. Humphrey's Witch Hazel, that is citrus scented, and going to be following up with Wet the Face Barbershop Aftershave. The blade of choice today is going to be a Persona. This one here is a pre-cut blade. X series, and got it whipped up here in a wooden bowl from the Distinctive Goat. Distinct Goat is on Etsy if you're wondering, and it's a pretty nice looking bowl here. Got it whipped up here with a haircut and shave brush. If I remember right, this knot is 26 millimeter, so it's going to soak up a little bit of your soap there. Kind of reminds me of when Stephen Davison mentions his Mega being a soap killer, because it is going to soak up a wee bit of that soap. Here's the shaver of the day. This is a camisole style DarkStag. See, it has a pretty nice shine to it on both sides there. It looks an awful lot like a feather in the way that it's put together right there, which is pretty common, I guess you might say, for this kind of style. And of course it takes DE blades, and as far as I know, I have not experimented whether or not it will handle how placement of like an injector blade would, a mini hair shaper blade, how it would fit in there. But as far as I know, it's just the DE blades that are snapped in half. And I've got links down below for the website for DarkStag if you're interested in checking it out, as well as TrevieB's unboxing, as well as his shave with the DarkStag if you want to take a look at it also. And but it's I say it does have a pretty nice shine to it. This will be my second shave. My first shave was, I think it was back on Saturday, was it? With it? I think it was that or Friday. I can't remember. I did a shave off camera. Didn't post anything at all that day. I was just trying to get a shave in that day, and excuse me, using a that side of using a DE blade snapped in half, so that you get to use your favorite blade, whatever blade that might be. And since there's so many DE blades out there, it gives you an opportunity to pick the one that works best for you. And if you're already a DE shaver and wanted to kind of cross over into something like this, you still got the same blades. You don't have to buy Feather Artist Club blades or Kai blades or something along those lines. It's in other words, you're already set up with blades. I already have these that are pre-cut. You can buy pre-cut blades. They're, how you say, some may have to look a little ways to find them, but they're pretty plentiful. You can get Derby pre-cut blades, Permasharp, Lord. There's several of them out there. Just depends on what you're interested in using. Me myself, if I hadn't already been started into DE, I would be using Persona anyway, because that's one of my favorite blades. Got them, I'm pointing over here because I got a stack of them. Anyway, we'll go ahead and get started with this. The scent on this soap, it's Barbershop, and if you're wondering, the best I can tell with my nose, especially this morning, because I've been just blowing my nose just right and left this morning, the best I can tell the scent on this is not powdery, if you're wondering. It's not a powdery Barbershop scent, but I haven't been able to put my finger on what kind of scent it is that I could relate to. I don't know if I mentioned it, but this does have a little bit of weight behind it. And I say most of that weight's going to be right up here at the head, which is a good thing for me. That's where I prefer to have most of the weight anyway. It has been a while since I shaved with a camisori or even a shavette or anything of the sort in a while. I was wondering if my skill set was going to be a little rusty. We'll find out. We're just now getting started. Oh, I should say that shave that I did off camera was with a derby blade. Derby Professional, already cut in half. I got so many of those blades, I guess you might say I need to use some of them. That is one of the things I would say about this that is really a good selling point, is that it does take DE blades. DE blades have been around for a long time, seem like they're going to be around for a lot longer, and whether a artist club or a Kai blade how much longer it's going to be around, it'd be hard to say. And not only that, just one less thing that you have to concern yourself about buying a specialty blade where that's the only thing you may have in your shaved end that takes that blade. DE blade, in other words, might appeal for a lot more people. For me, it's not just the DE blade, but the camisori style. I really like this style. It works well for me. Trying to catch that little bit of part back there that's grows in different directions. It's not near as bad as this side over here, but every once in a while it does, how you say, require a little bit extra attention back over there. Got that little strip that grows in different directions. For me, a 2-pass shave usually does the trick with a shavette. You get a sociably acceptable shave. In other words, there's not any visible hair left, and as it goes for lasting till 5 o'clock, if you will, yeah, it lasts till 5 o'clock without a problem. So usually a 2-pass shave, it works well for me. And if you're kind of new, or maybe you have an angle that's hard for you to get, no harm in picking up your favorite DE or single edge or whatever it happens to be to pick up that little pickup pass, if you will. For me, I got strip here and here, and usually this side here is the side that seems to be the most problematic. But I can go 2 or 3 days without having to hit it, and I'll be all right with it. I still smell the soap. I cannot put my finger on what scent I'm picking up, though. Some days these scents come to me, some days they don't. Just has to hit my nose just right, and I already know that my nose is not working that well this morning. Our weather came through last night, as expected. Yesterday morning, before I had checked, we were looking at like 30% chance of rain. Not too long after I did the video, checked the weather. Oh, looky there, we're up to 80%. No, 70%, then went to 80. Anyway, we had some storms roll through. Once again, I guess you might say the storms respected my sign of don't mess with me, and it went ahead and split and went around us, but this time it came a whole lot closer to the house. I think it passed by within about 2 miles of us, but it came somewhat closer. But once again, for whatever reason, it keeps on splitting and going around our neighborhood. Not complaining, but it all worked out well. But we had a wee bit of weather roll through yesterday afternoon, going into the evening hours. And all this weather, certain amount of flooding going on, and in our office, our little department, that is, we got a few people where they're requesting them to evacuate because releasing the water from the lakes is causing the Arkansas River to possibly, flood, and they're in areas that might be affected. So if it's not one thing, it's another, huh? Feels pretty good. Blade's working out all right. It's fairly smooth. I don't, not picking up. In other words, when I shade with the Derby blade, I think I'll see if I can't work a little bit better right there. The Derby blade wasn't bad at all. It's just that there's a noticeable difference in between the two. And I think it maybe has a lot to do with the coating of the blade. And this particular blade's coated with, the Teflon. Right through there. It can be kind of tough sometimes when your hair grows at such odd angles. There are certain parts where there's the creases in my skin. I do take a moment to work at a different angle instead of approaching it at a 90. Try to get it a little bit offset, maybe even at a 45, in order to keep from catching it. I guess you might say this blade is a little bit smoother cutting. Not that the Derby blade was harsh by any means, but there is a noticeable difference in between them. I shave with either one of them. I mean, did get myself right there, didn't I? They got a little bit of just a little bit of a bump right there. To a degree, the mechanism right here is an awful lot like the Feather Artist Club, if you're wondering. It's an awful lot like that. You can pinch it at the top, drop your blade in. Now with the soap being in there, you may have to actually open it up in order to get your blade out, because that soap being in there may help retain some of that blade in there, give it a little bit of retention there. So you may have to actually take it apart in order to get the blade out. Normally that's what I do to get it out anyway, so that way it gives me a moment to rinse it out, clean it up a little bit. But the difference, if there's, I guess you might say, the part that for me that I've noticed just by looking at it, as it goes for the shave, maybe I think I'd have to shave with one day, one with the next, and then you're still looking at a totally different kind of blade, so that might be a bit of distraction. But the feather blade, I mean not the feather blade, but the Feather Artist Club, it at the point where the blade comes out, where the exposure of the blade is at, there that portion right there is rounded, and this one here is more, how can you say, squared off, flat across there, as opposed to being rounded. And I know that's one of the things that Feather points out, is that, you know, that theirs is rounded, and they believe that's what helps give the shave, that the kind of shave that it gets, beside the blade. And I think if there's a big difference in between the two, that would be it. And it could be just me, but in between the two shaves, I feel like, and it's kind of hard to tell because maybe just the DE blade, that's the what I'm feeling the big difference is maybe kind of hard to see, but it is kind of squared off right there. So in other words, it's cut right at a 90-degree angle, as opposed to being rounded right there. You kind of see in if you watch one of their Feather videos, they kind of point that out, that they believe that that's a point that should be taken, because they feel like that will give you an easier shave. Got some witch hazel here. It might stop, I don't know. I'll be shaving with this a few more times, and I say a few more times, it might be quite a few more times in order for me to get a good handle on how the blade, each blade that I use, how it works in the shaver and that, and get back in the swing of using a camisori, a shavette. I don't know. There's a bit of a bump right there. With the Face Barber Shop aftershave. This particular one, he has one that's referred to, I think, as modern. That might come close to this one here. Can't remember for sure right off the top of my head. But if you're looking for one with this label, you're not going to find it at a store. You have to go to a buy, sell, trade type site to probably find this one here. When I ordered this, I went with, got 2 bottles, in other words. At the time, I didn't realize that he was working on changing labels or anything of the sort. It's just, for me, I just kind of felt like I would want 2 of them. I'm already paying for shipping, so I might as well, how you say, load up. I may have to do something a little different with this one. It does not want to cooperate. I have a styptic pencil hiding over here somewhere. Haven't had to use it in a while, but it looks like this might be it this morning. Well, overall, I had a great shave. I really enjoy it. Smelled wonderful this morning. Like I say, I've got it whipped up here. You want to see a little bit more of the inside of the wooden bowl there. It is really nice, and it's made out of walnut. That's what it looks like on the back side. Really nice bowl. Overall, nice shave. I'll hunt down my styptic pencil. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay safe and smooth shaves to you.